Hey, welcome everybody to the Coach Tyler Vann Show. Howie, Chaney, along with Randall Cunningham, and in the middle, of course, Coach Tyler Vann, as always. So we're going to get right into the show. We're going to get into the meat of the show tonight. Coach, was a rough night up at Sylvania. Up at Plainview. But the team started out really well and played a good first half, a great first half.
Yeah, our guys came out ready to go. We was able to, after watching film, we scouted it up. We felt like we was about to run the football. And we felt like our offensive line was about to handle their front, and our offensive line did all night, really, to be honest with you. We just had some penalties there that killed 2 drives in the second half. 2 times we didn't score. And both were self-inflicted penalties. But our offensive line did a really good job all night long. We was able to run off tackle. We was able to, mix it up, run trap, run inside, run outside, and their guys at 2 and 22 ran the ball hard. I'm really proud of the way we came out ready to go. We're going to halftime 24-7, and we come out of half. Give credit to Plainview. They outplayed us in the second half, but we also didn't execute. We had 2 turnovers on special teams in the second half that gave them 2 drives that we didn't have the football. And then the first half, we had another turnover that gave them the football. They scored every single time that we turned it over on the special teams unit. And so we've got to do a better job there. But, proud of the way our guys come out ready to go. We just got to, pull it together. Listen, there's not a lot of people that understand what these kids face adversity-wise in their building. Our guys have a lot of life lessons in this season that they can look back on in the future, because I ain't been a part of something where this many guys have had to face adversity on their team. And, we're still dealing with adversity. We're going to deal with it throughout the season, the rest of the season. I told our guys just, I don't care who's going to be out there on this Friday night. Who's healthy, we've got to find a way to win the next 2 weeks to host a playoff game. So that's what we got to do, and then we can start getting some guys back. But till then, whoever's out there has got to give everything they got, and we got to try to find a way to win the next 2 weeks.
Coach, you talked about giving them 2 turnovers. Us as normal fans, I'll send Coach a football question now and then, just trying to understand the game better. But us as fans don't understand what handing them 2 drives like that does to your play chart. It really gives Plainview 9 possessions and you 5 possessions, and it's really a difference changer in the game, or whatever the play chart looked like.
Yeah, so they stole 3 possessions from us. That's 3 times that we didn't get the football, where our offense was doing a really good job of sustaining drives. And not only that, so if you give us the ball 3 more times, we're probably going to be able to run off 7 or 8 minutes minimal out of 3 drives, guaranteed. That's 8 minutes that they don't have the ball, that they can't score the ball. And we had a lead of 30-15. We just had to keep the ball and move the ball, which we was going to be able to do. Our O-line played really well for the most part. I was really proud of them. The way they played, even when 56 went out at halftime or right after half, and Tanner went in at guard 58 for the second half. He played well. He did not play bad, but and then 54, Schroeder come out of place twice in the second half at right guard, and he played well. So both our guards, guards are dealing with injuries, and they continue to play good and give her back some lanes. But when you get 4th and 1 and you line up offside, you can count that as a turnover as well, because they wasn't stopping us from getting the yard. When you get 2nd and 7, and then you have a false start where we're running Baylor, we're running buck sweep on 2nd and 7, then we get 2nd and 13, we change the play call. We throw an incompletion as 3rd and 13. You can count them 2 penalties as things that cost us drives, because if we're staying on schedule, our offense is doing a really good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. We're okay. We just had self-inflicted penalties and mental mistakes that we've got to clean up and continue to get better. And guys who are playing in new spots are going to have to get better and grow up quick.
Coach, and not taking anything away from Plainview. We never take anything away from the opponent. They played well in the second half. But I think you made a point that through the film, you got off schedule in the second half. And maybe explain that to the viewer. what you call getting off schedule? Is it just down in distance that you want to, you want to be in 2nd and 6 and 3rd and 2s, or is it deeper than that?
Yeah, biggest play in a set of downs is first down. Obviously, you want to get 3, 4, 5 yards on first down and be able to control it. And then if you're 2nd and short, the playbook really opens up. But if you're in 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7, you continue to average your yards per carry. Then you're going to continue to move the football all night because you're liable to bust a big run. And then if you get in 3rd and short, where you have a play call for 3rd and short because you have 4th down ahead, or you're getting a first down. But if you have a penalty on 3rd and 3 and it bumps you to 3rd and 8, now you went from on schedule to off schedule, where now the play call changes. And when the play call changes, you just have to, players got to make plays, and you got to step up, and puts a lot of pressure on your pass game, puts a lot of pressure on your pass, up front on your protection, because you're going to get some pressure on 3rd and longs. But if we stay on schedule and you're able to mix it up with play actions on 2nd and shorts, 3rd and shorts here and there, in good field position, and you're able to continue to run the football, well, everything's easy as a play caller. But like when you get off schedule, it puts a lot of pressure not on one play caller necessarily as much, but on players to make big plays. And it just didn't go our way Friday night or Thursday night. Give a lot of credit to Plainview and what they were able to do, but we just got to do a better job of not self-inflicted penalties. You don't have live ball penalties, but the ones that kill you use the pre-snap penalties that we got to clean up.
Howie, I'll come to you after this, Coach. You in that second half, you're 3rd and short, which is your bread and butter around the 50-yard line. In all high school football, I think 3rd and short, anytime you're post 50-yard line, at our high school, at any high school I've seen, that's the time that you can come back and take a little shot. But you never really was in 3rd and short that whole second half where you could take a shot downfield, and that's tough when you're trying to be patient that way.
Yeah, and I think we got one. It was 3rd and 3. Ran quarterback out the backside. We got tackled, made it 4th and 1, and we just lined up off sides and ended up 4th and 6. And there's a big difference in 4th and 6 and 4th and 1. And then when your long snappers on the sideline with a high ankle sprain that's going to keep him out a while, and your backup long snapper shoulders come out of place twice, you're in a predicament on 4th and 6 on what you need to do. And we decided to go for it, and we're really close to getting it. I think it was a half yard short, and there was things during the play that could have happened that we could have executed better that would have busted that play open, but we failed to make that play, and that's fine. I mean, that's part of football. Football's about making plays, and maybe I should have had us in a better play, but it is what it is. It's something coaches and players need to learn from moving forward.
All right, Howie, Chaney, go ahead with your questions.
Hey, Coach, I'd like to go to the special teams aspect real quick. Have you saw Plainview do that, what I call a watermelon kick all year long, or is that something new that just broke out for y'all?
They started it, I think, last week. They did a little bit against 5. We worked it all week. That's all we worked when we went kick return was we put some skill guys up front. We knew they was going to do it, move some guys up, and we worked it. And it's still tough. That ball's rolling on the ground. It's still tough. People think that's easy to do, but you kick a football on the ground, it ain't going to take the same hop. It ain't going to roll the same every time. So no matter how much you practice it, sometimes the bounce is going to kick and it's going to hit off your shoulder pads, and it's not going to turn in your favor, regardless of how much you work it. But it happened. But I think they only got it one time. We was able to jump on it the rest. And it makes you nervous every time you do it. But you also got to be prepared for them to kick it deep or squib it down the middle or squib it back to the left. So you can't put too many guys in one spot. And so we trusted the guys we had up there, and then they made plays. And it ain't the guy's fault who didn't make the play that we lost the game. It's just that it happens. It happens.
Right. I just curious if it's something they just brought out for you.
No, that we'd actually worked it a good bit leading up to it. We'd laid it down and kicked it just like that.
Yeah. Sylvania's defensive line, your defensive line, was kind of held in check Friday night. They didn't get in the backfield as much. Was that because of the triple option? Was that by design, trying to keep them at home a little bit more?
Yeah, we changed it up a good bit. Where the 51 or ends was going to be on the quarterback or dive. And then we settled, and, we pretty much chose something there in the second half. And they weren't just killing us on veer. It was more of a low toss that they were cracking our outside backers with illegally. But, that was what they was getting the edge on us with. And so that play was killing us. If you illegally crack somebody, it's hard for that outside backer if you're getting hit in the back or getting hit in the side of the helmet. You don't see it coming to make a play because that was a guy that was there to make the play, and our corners come up and we'd miss a tackler in there, but that's just part of it. But the veer, as far as our D-line, to answer your question, they were held in check. And I think in the second half, when 56 went out up front at D-tackle for us, with 52 already being out for the year and us having to kind of move some guys around. We was having to move an end that hadn't even worked D-tackle inside at D-tackle, and they kind of took advantage of us there a little bit. We tried to work a few different guys in there at tackle, and they, we just wasn't. It was probably more my fault. It ain't the kids' fault. It's my fault that we didn't get more reps there inside, but it kind of hurt us there because you never plan on somebody to get hurt, especially to have a couple injuries where you had to move guys around. But 51 and 50 when he was at end and 33 at end, they did a pretty good job. It's just that triple option, you penetrate and they hit underneath you, or you're trying to make them wrong, and they did a good job making us wrong. And then our quarterback player and outside backers really struggled. We did a really good job going in half against the River. We come out the second half, and it was kind of like we hadn't seen it before. I don't know. We just struggled, and so should have got more reps at it through the week, I guess. But again, I think it was more so we made a few minor adjustments there at halftime, and I think it kind of threw us off for. I think it kind of affected different guys there when we was making adjustments, and we should have just probably kept it the same and rolled with it. That's probably on us as a staff, and that way they wouldn't have been as much thinking. We held them to 7 points. We shouldn't have changed much at half, but we tried to change something that I felt like, and Coach Clark felt like would be a benefit to our guys. And I think if anything, it may have, caused them wheels to spin too much, and we're just kind of missing our assignments. So that was a big part. It was just missing assignments and stuff we got to work on and get better at.
Coach, go ahead.
Sorry about that, Randy. Going against Peter.
Let me ask a follow up to that. It was such a great question. Let me get out and I'll come right back to you.
Okay.
I want to talk real fast about even out of that option, the kids get blocked different. They're coming from different angles, and you were talking about the crackback and stuff. But even the tackles get blocked down on different. The ends can get kicked different. I remember playing option teams, and this was barely out of leather helmet days. So we've always talked about how old I am, but you really have to adjust to the angle you're getting blocked at playing at that triple option. And I thought the kids initially did well, but I think Plainview may have adjusted their blocking scheme at halftime too a little bit. And you couldn't go back to what you were doing in the first half. That would have probably confused the kids even worse. Is that a fair read?
Yeah, a lot of things we changed. Wasn't much up front. It was more on the back end, secondary and outside backer. Up front, the only thing that really changed was personnel. To be honest with you, 51 did a really good job. 33 did a good job at the end. They all played hard. Not one of them took a play. I mean, they played hard. But in that triple, you're just unblocked so much. If you tackle the dive, he's pulling it. Well, you've done your job. All right, You made him pull it. You've done your job. Now the next guy, the quarterback player's got to play the quarterback pitch, got to play the pitch. Only thing you can control is your job. As soon as you decide that if I'm a dive player, that I'm going to take the quarterback, or I'm going to help on the dive and take the quarterback, and I'm going to try to do too much, is when the dive's going to hit you. So, it was just about us doing our job, everybody doing their job, and it was always just maybe one guy here or there that wasn't, and that's what makes triple option tough, you've got to be at home. You got to be sound every play. And but for the most part, the first half and most of the game against the Beer, our guys did okay job. We just got to get better at doing the little things right all the time. So.
Well, you even see, and Howie, you can have the question just to follow up. You even see the guys that play on Saturday. They don't want to play the triple option teams, the Armies, the Navies, just because it's such a different look than what everybody gets them. But good point, Coach. That's a good answer. Howie, go ahead with your question.
Well, going back to kind of what you're talking about as far as a different look, you had Piedmont earlier this year that threw the ball all over the field. Now you had Plainview that run the triple option. How difficult is it to get your guys to adjust from different offenses that you got to face week to week?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's tough on kids, and tough on, like, I never played against a triple option when I was in school. First time I coached against it was last year in Jamboree against DAR. I hadn't seen it a lot in my lifetime. Most of what I saw is I've seen the wing T, I've seen the double wing and all that, but I hadn't seen triple ran much. And so it's, I've learned a lot in the last year and a half, 2 years, just being around it with DAR and Plainview twice. But it brings a different element. Triple option does. It's tough. But our guys, Coach Clark's done a really good job preparing our guys throughout the week every time we played the triple option. And it was no different than we prepared last year, no different when we prepared against DAR. It's the same preparation that we've used every time we played the triple option. We just got to, we just got to get better, but it is tough now going from a spread team to a 5 and then to a triple option. Like, it's different every week. And then this week we're going to a power type look formation is what we're going to see all week. So different looks, and you can kind of all put them together in some type of way sometimes, but the triple option, that's its own element.
A dive play is a dive play, but when a dive is off a pitch read, it's just not a dive play.
All right.
Howie, go ahead, sir.
Well, I noticed on one of the plays that Plainview ran, he kept the ball. He faked it to the fullback, but kept the ball and just followed him up to the hole. Is that something y'all might have saw on film? Is that one of the, I know nothing about football, so is that like one of the triple option
plays? You follow. They did it more last year with Noah. And I think they only done that like once against us. And the rest of the time he would pull it and he would hit inside because our outside backer was playing outside and he was actually the quarterback player. So he should have been fitting off the edge, and we just failed to fit off the edge. So that's why he was cutting it right off tackle. So our end was tackling dive like he was supposed to. He's pulling it and he's cutting it up because our outside backer's not playing downhill. To tackle the quarterback. So I don't know. They may run that Q follow play. I remember seeing him pull it and keep it inside tight just because our outside backer was not fitting the way he was supposed to. But
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't know nothing about the X's and O's, and I watch a lot of games, and I really do love the triple option. I don't know why. I love watching Navy. I love watching Army play. I used to love watching Georgia Tech because they ran it. But I never remember seeing the quarterback actually just kind of use the fullback as a blocker, just follow.
Lead blocker, yeah. They did it more last year with Noah White and 12. I thought he was one of the best players in the region. They ran that play a good bit last year.
Okay, Randy, what you got for us?
Well, Coach, we'll finish up on Plainview and move on to Hokes Bluff, but I just got a couple of short questions. The atmosphere, I mean, it didn't turn out the way you want, but you can't ask for a game to be a bigger time feel. What was it like pre-game and getting ready to run on the field, and just a little bit about the experience of playing that rivalry?
I hadn't been a part of it till last year. And it's not just Plainview. I feel the same when we go to Geraldine or when we go anywhere in DeKalb County. I think it's a DeKalb County feel. It's a special Friday. Friday nights are special, but it's real special when you have two DeKalb County teams lining up against each other, especially when it's a big region game. It didn't go the way we wanted it to go, and hopefully we change that in over the next few years and we make it go our way. But atmosphere was great, and it's something special these kids will be a part of, So enjoyed it. I wish we could have enjoyed it more. I thought going into half, we just had to get the ball. If we get the ball out of half, I think the game could be different. That's when they got their onside kick and they were able to, and then they got a 2-point conversion because they muffed the field goal. And, and then you get to the end of the game and you ask the question or hear people ask the question, not me. I don't. Do you let them score? To me, no. That's why we didn't. I don't, in hindsight, you don't know what's going to take place, but they've snapped it on the ground. They've already bobbled one snap. And I'm never going to ask my defense to let somebody score. It's not going to happen. If you turn on the film and you watch them in the triple option, they put it on the ground a lot this year. And we have opportunity to maybe they put a pitch on the ground. Maybe we force a fumble because we forced a lot of turnovers in the last few games. But we needed to stop, and our defense found a way to get a stop, and I'm proud of them for that. They needed to stand tall right there. They did their job, and then they got the hold and the snap and the kick, which is not easy in high school football. And we wasn't able to block it, and then we was in the pursuing possession. We didn't have a lot of times not having any timeouts. And it was also my fault because I shouldn't have wasted the timeout complaining about a block in the back that I knew they wouldn't change. I shouldn't have got that frustrated to do that. I should have just screamed from the sideline and not wasted the timeout. So if I could have that back, I would. That was a mental mistake by me on my part, not understanding how much time's left in the game and we may need that timeout. What's better, we ended up getting a stop, and we just muffed the punt, and they got the ball back. So it is what it is. But the environment, the question say, I just chased a rabbit everywhere. But the environment was great.
Well, Coach, I know it's hard to come on here after a loss and talk about it, and all the respect in the world to you for doing it, and all the respect in the world to you for taking responsibility. But, at the end of the day, come this week, it's about Hokes Bluff, and it's about a great week of preparation. And where do we set in prep for Hokes Bluff, and how did the kids respond to the coming back to practice?
Good. Really, to be honest with you, I'm trying to think how to put it the right way. So I told them after the game, a lot of, again, people don't understand what these guys go through at Savannah or in the field house. And we take pride in how we leave our locker room. We take pride in how we stretch and how we do everything we do. And I'm Coach Vann, and there's one of me, and I can't be everywhere at one time. All I can be is if I'm holding a meeting in here and they're in there, half of the team's in there working out and half of them's in here meeting with me, I can't be everywhere. But when I get told, that we're not doing things the right way as far as maybe mentally and lines, stretch lines, or wherever we're supposed to be, or maybe one guy's not leaving the locker the right way, and I allow them to get away with it, that's my fault because it's not the culture we're going to be about. And I had allowed them to get away with it for a week. Once or twice, I allowed them to get away with it, and that was my fault. I told them after the game they never have to worry about them getting away with anything like that again because it's just not who we're going to be. I don't care if it's as small as you whispering and talking in a warm-up line. Like, what are you going to be about? Everything matters. How you leave your locker, who sweeps the locker room out, everything matters. If all the little things don't matter in there in the weight room, then they don't need to matter out there on the field. And without me having to say anything else about that, they've done a really good job with that this week. I think they understand the word complacency and how that can sneak up on you. And, football is football, and you match up with a team differently every week, regardless of how many people tell you how good you are, regardless of how many people tell you how bad that other team is. You better listen to me when I tell you a team's very capable of beating you. You better listen to me when I tell you you better prepare the correct way for a team, because I'm not going to lie to you. And I told them all week, if you're not ready to go, Plainview is. They're ready. Then this is a chance to save their season, and they're going to get their best shot. We did, and I thought we handled it well early. And I told them at halftime, they were down to Piedmont, 28-7. They come back and battle 28-21. They're not going to quit. If you give them a little bit of life, they're going to take it and they're going to fight back. And this will be a ball game, and we did that right off the bat with that onside kick. Again, it wasn't that kid's fault. There's a bad hop, hit him in the chest, and bounced up in the air. And it is what it is. We just had to find a way to answer, and our guys did answer. We gave up a touchdown, but we answered back and we scored on the preserved possession, and we made it 30-15. That's answering the call right there. Our guys did a really good job of doing that. But I thought our guys this week in preparation they're doing a really good job trying to prepare for Hokes Bluff, and we ain't even been able to practice the way I would like to practice because of the injuries and the people that we have out, the people that we have playing, that we're having to prepare a bunch of different lineups for what may happen. But you know what? They understand it, and they're getting ready to play. Because I told them it doesn't matter what it takes the next 2 weeks. We just got to find a way to win. If we find a way to win the next 2 weeks, we're hosting a playoff game. So that's what we've got to do. We can't worry about anything else. The guys that are healthy and ready to go, there's no choice. All right, let's get ready to go and find a way to win. And I think we're going to, and I think the guys are answering it and preparing the right way. No matter how much I change in practice or have to change how we practice some things, they're doing a really good job of trying to lock in and just get better. So I'm proud of them.
Hokes Bluff, off the film, big physical football team up front, 3 defensive linemen all over 235. It's going to be a challenge for our offensive line to be met on Friday night. There's some pretty good athletes in that front 7 for Hokes Bluff.
Yeah, they're really well coached. They do a good job. They're physical. That's how they play. That's how they play in the I formation. So, we're going to do what we do, though. We're prepared to throw it some more than we have been. We're also prepared to run it. I think whoever the 5 are up front, I trust them to get the job done and provide running lanes for the guys in the backfield. And they don't take a huge running lane for 2 and 22 to get the job done. So we just have to, find a way to move them up front a little bit, create some lanes for our running backs to get loose, and then be good in play action and pass downs, because we're going to be able to throw it, I think, a little bit. We've worked a good bit on that this week. Again, we work every week. We've done a lot more scaly this week because we got to be ready to throw it, when we need to, and kind of not even when we need to anymore. Second shorts, third and shorts, play actions. We just got to be on time and do our job. But I'm really proud of how they're preparing, and regardless of the adversity, I'm proud of them.
Howie, I'll come to you after this, Coach. I know this is only your second year at Sylvania, and you've been a head coach prior at Woodville for a year or two. Have you ever dealt, even as an assistant, with the rash of injuries that you've had to deal with over the last 2 or 3 weeks, or is this just one of those things that's kind of fluky and it just turned, bad for us right now?
I never been a part of something. No. And I keep looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. We just got to press on and keep on striving, to get there. I told them the other day, just get to week 11. Let's win the next 2 weeks. Let's get in the playoffs, host a playoff game, and then some of these guys will be coming back. Now, we've lost 3 guys for the year, and we got numerous other guys that are questionable, and we don't know how they're going to be. And we got guys that's playing at 75, 80%, but they're playing and they're giving everything they got, and I'm proud of them. And they go out there and they practice everything they got, and they cannot control injuries. They cannot. That's out of their control. All they can do is rest, ice, and then prepare the right way, and then do it all over again. They take care of their bodies. Some guys do a really good job of, after practice, getting the rehab, getting what they're supposed to do and going back out practicing and just continuing to rehab their bodies. It's not a lack of that or anything. And it's not a lack of toughness either. You know, sometimes you can question a kid's toughness, but there ain't one kid that's been hurt or injured. We ain't been hurt, we've been injured. You know, we got a bunch of guys hurt that's playing through it. That's football. That's going to happen every year. But as far as injuries go, I've never been a part of as many injuries as we've had. But our guys in that locker room, you know, they know it's the next man up. They know that they trust the next guy up, and they just want to prepare the right way and get better.
In your numbers, being in the 40s, when you lose 3 guys, it's like the guys that play on Saturday losing 15 people for the year or so. And often that one guy represents not only offense, but defense and special teams. So you're really losing a player in 3 different positions when one goes down.
Right. Yeah. And so, and then if you have, I could go into a lot with this, but like it's something we may be dealing with a situation, you know, where you're losing guards. Like we have guards that are questionable. And hopefully they're cleared and they can play. But if not, you know, you got to move. We may be moving. You have to be prepared to move tight ends to O-line. You have to be prepared to move guys around, and you can't just throw them in there. You got to rep them some there and get them prepared to go there. So you just throw them in the middle of the game and pat them on the butt, going, "Good luck. We need you." But you know, defensively, we're continuing to move guys around there as well. We've got a bunch of young guys. But I feel like, you know, defensively, we're in good shape. Our guys fly around. Offensively, up front, we just got to continue to get healthy. You know, we got guys that are hurt, but I trust the guys who's going to play this Friday night. They've prepared the right way. They're learning it.
Howie, Chaney, and Coach, to finish up, everybody thinks it's easy for a guy to move from tackle to guard or guard to tackle. That may be one of the toughest things in football. Oh, go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, we got a guy. We're hoping to get cleared though. That we're going to try to move some guys around a little bit. You know, in the lineup that I think is going to be productive for us, not only the rest of this year but in the future. I think so. I'm really proud. I can't tell you how proud I am of how these kids respond to these things, because they could just as easily throw the towel in with as much as we have going on right now. They could, because they see it at practice, they understand what we're going through, but it don't change their mindset of we're just gonna find a way to win. We're gonna prepare however we have to prepare, and we're gonna find a way to win. And I'm really proud of the guys that's in that locker room. Really proud of them. I can't say it enough, and I'd go to war with them before I go to war with them. You know, if we only have 11 guys left that can go to war, I'd go to war with whichever 11's left in that room before I go to war with anybody else.
That's great. Howie.
Coach, you talk about practice a lot. I know you're out of school this week. How does your practice schedule change any this week?
Yeah, so I brought them in normal time on Monday. Then I let them vote on what time they wanted to come in the rest of the week. And they all voted 8 o'clock. So they actually voted 7:30. I overruled it and said 8 because I don't trust all of them to be here at 7:30 on fall break. So we actually get here at 8 o'clock and we get to work. And
locker room, I take it. They can't be there at 7:30. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, so we get here at 8 o'clock. We get rolling. Start practice about 9. We're done with the weight room. You know, weight room and meet from 8 to 9. So.
Well, yeah, I knew it was on fall break and everything. I was just curious how much of a change that took place this week. You got Hokes Bluff coming in. You said they run the Power I. Is that mainly what they're going to run? Do they throw any passes out of that?
They do. They throw it a good bit. They threw it a lot on Plainview. That's probably the most they've thrown it. Plainview did a pretty good job stopping the run, but they were able to get they just had some big plays. I think he was completed nine passes against them. They were all pretty big plays, but you know, they just get an eye north, or they just get an eye north, I call it a lot. Eye north twins. So it's just like us being in gun. To me, there's no difference. You know, they get in gun north like we get in gun with 222 in the backfield and 33 at tight end. They just do it under center. So we practiced, that I formation all week. They don't rarely put multiple guys in the backfield. It's normally just it's a 2-back set most of the time, and sometimes it's a 1-back set where they split guys out and go spread. They've shown a few different things there, so in 2 minute and things, but they're very capable of throwing the football. Their quarterback does a good job of getting the ball out, and we got to be prepared for the pass as long as we run, as well as with the run game. So our guys got to be really ready to go up front on the D line because they're pretty good on the line. They play hard. Our D line's got to come ready to play, and our linebackers got to be ready to fit. So,
you talking about their quarterback and everything. Is he a mobile quarterback as far as being able to run and get out of the pocket if need be?
He is. He don't show it a lot, but he's very capable of doing so. He's a young guy. He's just going to continue to get better. He's throwing the ball better as the year went on. So. He didn't throw it as much early in the year. They've started throwing it more here later in the year, and he's done a really good job of getting the ball out on time and putting it on target. So we've got to be ready to go.
Does he have like a primary receiver, or is he just scatter the ball everywhere?
He does. He likes throwing the number one. He has a few different guys he likes to throw to, but one's his favorite target. He likes getting him the ball, and rightfully so. One's a good football player out wide. He does a good job getting open, and then he does a good job after the catch. So we don't have to do a really good job of covering him up on Friday night.
So on the defensive side for them, Hokes Bluff, what type of defense do they run? They run a 4-3, 3-4, a 5 front. What have you seen on this?
Yeah, he's an even front type guy. He's like to stay too high. So even with that, 4-2 box, he's going to try to stay too high to it. I don't think so against us. I don't think he'll do that. I think he also shows a bare front. So we prepared for both. We prepared for everything that he's shown on film. So, up front, our guys, we've seen or we played against pretty much every front that we're going to see. I think the rest of the year, this year we faced Odd, we faced Even, we faced Bear. No one's going to surprise us with anything, but we've repped just like we do every week exactly what we think they're going to do or I feel like they're going to do. And our O-line does a really good job of preparing and understanding what they're going to see and then going out there and executing on Friday night. I don't think it'll be any different. Our guys are going to be ready to go. On the back end, they like to play too high a lot. I don't think they'll do that as much against us. I think they'll be one high and even play a little bit of man. I mean, if it was, I always try to go into the game and I watch film and I see what people do, and then I try to take what they do and go, if I was preparing for us, what would I do? So I'm prepared in my head for if they do that, what do we have to do? So that's why in Skelly all week we've worked every coverage I think they're going to give us. So our quarterbacks have thrown against every coverage that I feel like they could give us. And, we've repped and ran the ball during inside run as much as we could inside run against every deep front they could give us. But, they do a really good job coaching their defense. So it should be a good football game and a good challenge for our guys.
So to follow up on that kind of your own answer, you say that if you were scouting yourself, whatever, what do you expect them to do on special teams? Basically, is what I'm getting at, I guess. After seeing the issues that had took place this past week, would you attack that if you were coaching against your team?
I don't know. I think it's all when you start doing that onside kicking every single time. This is just my opinion now. Take it with a grain of salt. I think you send a message. Like against somebody like last Thursday night, we had our skill guys up there, and we had guys who play the infield and baseball up there. So like we knew, we trusted the guys that was up there to make plays. And I'm all now if he wants to do that, we're prepared for it just like we was last week. Because like you said, if I'm preparing against us, we are definitely ready. For that this week as well. So we've got our skill guys up front again, and we have wedge setters in the middle, and we're actually able to put 51 up front this week. 51's he's just really good. He has really good ball skills. He catches it well. He throws it well. He stays after practice. He's a low lineman, D lineman, but he could just as easily play skill if I wanted him to. He's a really good football player. He's an athletic kid, so we put him actually in the middle, but the other two are skill. But I think when you do that, give us field position, please, because we'll take it at the 50, at the 45. But in a way, I think you're sending a message that we can't stop them. Maybe we can steal possession every single time. Or you just may not trust your guys to kick off. Sometimes I felt like that. Sometimes in the past, like we may not trust your kick coverage team. And at least you're getting a chance to get the ball, and you don't have to worry about them returning it. So there's multiple different ways to look at it as a coach. And I think Plainview was more so, they didn't kick it deep anyways. Their guy all year, it really was. I think it was on the numbers. So it's either we felt like there was either going to squib it down the middle, kick it on the numbers, which wasn't that far, I don't think, as a young guy, or it was going to be kicking on the ground. So their game plan was really good against us. If it's either give them a chance at a return or let's have a chance to get the football and kick it on the ground. And they did a really good job against us. There was really smart coaching on their part. So, but we are prepared for that. So if I was scouting us, yes, I probably would do that.
That's why I worded it the way I did. As far as if you were scouting yourself, would you?
If I was scouting myself, I probably would do that. Now, I wouldn't want to do that. Like, if we continue to have kickoff woes like we're having right now the last few weeks, it's been really good up to the last few weeks. And we put a bunch of different bodies trying to give guys rest because of injuries. All right, so we've got guys hurt, so we're trying to find ways to get them off the field here or there, and it's hurt us a little bit in kickoff and stuff. But we scratched that, and 51 come up to me the other night, and he was like, "Coach, if you need me every single, I'll never leave the field." 69 come up and said the same thing. We have multiple guys saying, "Coach, you ain't even got to give me a break." Where before they may have been asking for it, but now they don't. They want to be on the field. And so it's kind of like they're understanding. Sometimes they just don't trust me. Sometimes they may just have to learn it their own way, and we'll just show you. And but I feel like kickoff's going to be better. But if we continue to have problems, we might as well just onside it every time and either get it or give them the ball at the 40 rather than watching them return it to the 40. But I think our kickoff's going to do a better job. I'm excited about that this week. And our kick return, we've got some things in that I think is going to help us. And so we'll see. Look forward to it.
Could we see the old school jersey swapping with 51 and 69 every once in a while, putting them as eligible receivers or something, since they're able to play?
Yeah, we could with 51 for sure.
Randy,
Coach, just real quick, and this is Randall talking. This ain't Coach Vann. I know it was tough it's tough after a loss to get on here, and we appreciate it. And one question to wrap up, and then we'll let you get out of here because I know it's been a long week. You talked about when they start squibbing every time or start going for it in a fourth down. You can show your desperation sometimes by the way you call your game. And when you start seeing that sometimes, does it ever go, they know they've got to steal possessions. They know they can't score with us. Sometimes you give away your game plan when you start doing some stuff like that, correct?
Right. And, I felt like going into the game that our defense was going to be able to do a good job. I'd never dreamed that we would get beat 33-30. I felt like if we was going to somehow, get in a situation where we're going to lose the game, it'd be a low-scoring game. And we just had some miscues like I've talked about that we need to get fixed. But I think you do that. And, I don't even like putting trick plays in sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like when I practice it, I'm I don't want the team to think that's the only way we can score when it's not. But if I ever see anything on film where I feel like we can steal a possession, steal a touchdown, then I'm going to put it in, and we're going to try to steal it. It has nothing to do with me thinking we can't move the football, because we threw a trick play the other night, and I felt like we could line up. Going into the game, I felt like we could line up and run the football every single play and never throw a forked pass, and our offensive line was going to do their job, and our running backs was going to do their job. All right, but you do, but sometimes I think it's just it also can be just rolling the dice and let's go. So
Yeah,
I do
and
that.
that's Phil as the head coach on the sideline too. Just, hey, I just feel like, or something you've seen on scout or something you've seen in film. I think we can fake one. Their end already crashes. So anyway, Coach,
it really takes the air out of a team more than people. Like if you turn the ball over on offense, it stinks. That's bad. But we didn't have a turnover. We didn't have a turnover in two games since Pitt's gone thing. But when you turn it over on special teams, it really takes the air out of a football team. I mean, it's just something different. I don't know how to explain it to you where it makes sense. But even as a coach, when that happens on special teams, and much less having three of them, but every time it happens, it just hurts more than a turnover because you never had the ball on offense.
You never
you stay on the field on defense. So
right.
We got to clean that up.
And you never got an opportunity to run your offense. Sometimes I feel like sitting in the booth when I see us turn one over on offense after maybe we're 6 plays into a drive and we turn it over, I go, oh, we made a mistake. But when you turn one over and you get no opportunity on offense, it's almost demoralizing that you went, oh, they scored, they got the ball back. That's a 14-point swing. A lot of times it's the same if you score that last touchdown going into halftime and you get the football back in the third quarter. You have the ability to swing the game 14 points, and the other team never touched the football in my head.
Right. I agree. And we had a chance to do that. You know, we got the field goal right before half, big field goal by Andretti, and we're getting the ball after half. So we're just going to be able to stick, it's a 10-point swing right there.
Yeah.
And I think it completely changes the complexion of the game. And they do a really good job. It was a really good kick by their kicker, and they did a good job getting on top of it. They made a play. And Plainview deserves credit. Their players made a lot of plays throughout the game that if they wouldn't have made, they wouldn't have won. So their guys and their running backs, 10, 4, 26, 3, their quarterback and their O-line, but them running backs, 10 and 4, deserve a lot of credit because they run the ball really hard. And even through injuries, they kept running the ball hard. So they deserve credit. But we got to clean up our mistakes so it don't happen in the future.
You said it, though. Goal 1 of the season was to have that home playoff game still intact. Got opportunity to play. We need a full house in Sylvania this weekend. Get everybody out early. Hokes Bluff, again, I've watched a lot of Hokes Bluff film this year because they kind of intrigued me because they were one of the more physical teams I've seen on the film. Chance to see some great football Friday night and pull the Rams on for a victory, Coach.
That's right. Huge region game. We need everybody out, regardless of how upset we still are, because we're not our guys have done a really good job of getting past it and moving on. Because if you dwell on something, it's just don't let one loss turn into 2, or don't let that loss affect how you prepare the next week. If you let it affect you, at least let it affect you in a positive way. Take the bad, learn from it, take the good and get better on it, and try to find a way to win a big game this week against a good, really well coached Hokes Bluff football team that we're going to have to be really prepared to play against. And I'm excited. Good matchup for us. I'm glad we have them at home, and we need to have that home crowd here supporting them and cheering them on. So,
you as a coach, these last 4 games of the year, not against anybody you played early in the year, but you get some of the best coaches in Alabama across the sideline, from Plainview all the way out to Fife, with Hokes Bluff, Westbrook, and then Fife. So big opportunity for you and the staff to to measure yourself too.
Yeah, it's always. I'm a competitive person, so I'm always trying to outcoach the guy across from me. I didn't do a very good job at that Thursday night across the board. There were some formations when I look back on film that maybe I should have stayed in a little bit more because we had them and they wouldn't get lined up really well. But we was also in formations where we had them and we just missed a guy here or there. But it's really tough to prepare against good coaches, and we face them week in, week out. In our region, Coach Smith is a really good football coach in Piedmont. He does a really good job. One of the best coaches in the state of Alabama. I get to prepare against him every year, and they do a really good job on both sides of the football. I know he's an offensive guy, but he has a lot of say-so on defense, I'm sure, and they do a really good job on defense. They're probably one of the most sound defenses we play throughout the year, and so it's awesome to be able to coach against them guys. We just got to find a way to come out on top the next 2 weeks against, like I said, 2 good football teams and 2 well-coached football teams.
Kids played hard Friday night. We'll play hard this Friday night. It's not effort. It's not it. I've not seen one thing in film of this football team does anything but play hard. But thanks for coming, Coach Howie. Do you have any words to finish up tonight?
Yeah, starting next week, we're going to have a contest. Go to, we got an email set up. It's called RiverCity.Media at yahoo.com. That's RiverCity.Media at yahoo.com. If you can guess the total rushing yards for Sylvania this week without going over, you could win this signed mini football from Coach Vann and the 4 seniors. The tiebreaker will be the total points scored in the game. Of course, we know who's going to win, or at least who's going to win. So just the total points and total rushing yards for the game, and then total points will be the tiebreaker. Send it to RiverCity.Media@yahoo.com.
River City, one word, media.com. All right.
River City, we'll get it right. Say RiverCity.Media@yahoo.com.
Any limitation on how many times they can enter?
No, the more the merrier.
All right. Well, I'll be sending about 600 of them in this week. Coach Vann, last words from last week and getting ready for a big physical regional matchup this week.
Yeah, just like I said, we got to move past it. Like I know, that one being a rivalry hurts, but to me, Coach Vann, that loss hurts just the same as any other loss to me because, I want to win every single one of it. I would put myself as the most competitive person out there. I hate losing. I hate the thought of losing. So anytime we do lose as a team, it tears me up because I feel like there's multiple things that I should have done better, and I know there always will be. Even in wins, I know I go back and watch film and wish I'd have done things differently that I didn't do, but it's easier to, learn from them after a win than it is after a loss when you look back and realize, or wish you'd have done things a little different here or there. But we got to learn from it as a staff and as a team and move forward because you can't change it. Like I told the team, you can't change that loss. That loss will stay a loss next week. It'll stay a loss in the off season. It'll stay a loss next year. Like that game's over. You can't change it. Only thing you can control is what you do the next 2 weeks. Injured guys will stay injured right now. You can't change them. You can't go in there and there's only one that can change that, and that's God. And you pray about it, but we can't change it overnight. It's impossible. We can't. So we just got to control what we can control. That's all we can do. And our guys are doing a really good job of doing that so far this week. We've got to continue to do it in the morning and Thursday morning and be ready to go on Friday night. So we're excited.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. And again, I'm saying it for Randall. Coach, I know how tough it is to do this after a loss, any loss, but we appreciate you. Sylvania's lucky to have you. We're lucky to have you. We appreciate you as a head coach. I can't emphasize how privileged it is to do this show with you. Howie Chaney, I'm not going to say how privileged that is. I'll save that one for another day. For Howie Chaney, for Coach Vann, this is Randall Cunningham on the Tyler Vann Show. We'll send you next week after Hokes Bluff.